The aftermath of the tsunami that hit Tonga, aid planes finally arrive in the South Pacific, bringing much-needed supplies. Pictures are emerging of the devastation in Tonga caused by the eruption of an undersea volcano and tsunami at the weekend. Today, the first aid planes landed with urgently needed drinking water, food and medicines. The Queen has said she's shocked and saddened by the destruction to the Pacific nation, which is part of the Commonwealth. Rupert Wingfield-Hayes reports.
For the first time since last Saturday's huge eruption, we're finally getting to see what has happened to Tonga's main island. Along the coast, the damage from the tsunami looks extensive, with many buildings destroyed. In Tonga's capital, Nuku'alofa, there's a lot of volcanic ash, but the buildings are intact and the cleanup has begun. Telephone services are also back, and that means for Tongans living abroad, the agonising wait for news is finally over.
My dad had told me that, they're fine, no major damages to our homes.
So at the moment, I've got family over in the outer islands of Ha'apai. I have heard from them and they're doing okay. Who I haven't heard from is my father. I'm sure he's out there working hard, doing what he does.
We've also learned of a remarkable survival story. This man says he was swept off a small island by the tsunami and was in the water for more than 24 hours before making it to land. Help is now arriving. This is an Australian C-17 transport plane on final approach to Tonga this afternoon. The crew quickly unloaded water and emergency supplies, but because of COVID, they were not allowed any contact with locals. Tonga's government has decided that until COVID is over, the islanders will have to deal with the aftermath of this disaster by themselves. Rupert Wingfield-Hayes, BBC News, in Tokyo.
Now, the Queen says she is shocked and saddened by the volcano eruption and tsunami which have devastated Tonga. In a message to the nation's king, she said her thoughts and prayers are with those affected. The Royal Navy is joining the international aid effort, which after days of delays is finally getting through, as Rachel Younger reports.
Help at last for a nation cut off for 5 days after a tsunami wreaked havoc in seconds. Finally, a ground-level view of the damage. Cars folded like cardboard, people doing their best to clean up. With every surface covered in ash from the volcano that caused the tsunami. Planes only getting in now after Herculean work locally.
Airfield has been open today. There was a mammoth effort by His Majesty's Armed Forces to clear that runway by hand.
A ship from neighbouring New Zealand due today, bringing food and water to replace supplies contaminated by ash. But the damage has spread far beyond the volcanic eruption that sent huge waves right across the Pacific to the coast of Peru, where the sand is black. Seabirds struggling to survive after a ship unloading oil into a nearby refinery was unexpectedly swamped. There is fury here that the oil company cleaning up appears to be relying on household equipment. Restoring these shores will be tough, but on the other side of the ocean, an entire nation faces the task of rebuilding. Rachel Younger, ITV News.